Welcome on board the Newstrack. I'm Rahul Kanwal. Is Seer Shivamurthy Sharanaru being given VIP treatment? He has finally been arrested after a relentless India Today campaign. Late last evening he was arrested, but after spending the night in jail, he's now in a hospital. He complains of chest pain. Now, we've been down this road earlier. Is this just a VVIP accused wanting to find some way of ensuring that he escapes having to go through the ordeal of being in jail? We look at that and more on this big story that's being tracked nationwide, coming up on the Newstrack tonight.
Six days to arrest the Seer. Six hours spent in jail. Emotional and medical drama unfolds. Rape accused Seer breaks down in court. Claims chest pain to evade jail. VIP treatment for rape accused Seer on Newstrack.
Here's a look at the headlines I'm tracking tonight. Arrested for child rape, Lingayat Seer undergoing a second medical examination for the last 3 hours. This after a local court granted police 4-day custody for interrogation. India gets its first indigenous aircraft carrier, INS Vikrant, inducted into service by Prime Minister Modi. Indian Navy freed from the colonial relic of the St. George's Cross on its flag. Prime Minister Modi unveils new ensign with Chhatrapati Shivaji seal. Supreme Court grants interim bail to activist Teesta Setalwad in the 2002 Gujarat riots case. Teesta asked to surrender her passport. High Court to take decision on regular bail. More revelations in the Sonali Phogat murder case. Video of the second accused, Sukhwinder. Hours after the killing emerges, bottle used to drug the BJP neta recovered. Arrested after 6 days of being charged with raping minors, the Muruga Mutt Seer has spent only 6 hours in jail so far. Soon after Dr. Shivamurthy was taken to the district prison, the Lingayat Seer complained of chest pain. He was rushed to the Chitradurga government hospital, taken in on a wheelchair into the ICU. In court, the Seer broke down, looked distraught. He's been remanded to 4 days custody for interrogation, but he's still not in jail, not at this moment. And from what it seems, that's what they're attempting to do. Claim that there's a chest pain and try and stay for as long as possible out of jail.
A late night arrest, health scare and VVIP treatment. There was high drama in Chitradurga following the late night arrest of Muruga Mutt Pontiff Shivamurthy Muruga Sharanaru, who is accused of raping 2 minor girls. The rape suspect Seer was taken to the district jail at 3 a.m. Later, he complained of chest pain. The Seer was shifted to the Chitradurga government hospital at 9:10 a.m. in an ambulance. He was seen being taken on a wheelchair in the hospital. India Today learns the Pontiff underwent an ECG, blood test and CT scan at the jail.
Actually, our physician suggested for cardiologist opinion. So, cardiology team will be visiting Swamiji now, and they will examine thoroughly the cardiac condition.
The seer is likely to be shifted to Bengaluru's Jayadeva Hospital, where he will be kept on the 6th floor, away from the regular patients.
ರೋಗಿಯನ್ನು ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿಯನ್ನು ಪರೀಕ್ಷಿಸಿದೆ ಕೂಲಂಕುಷವಾಗಿ ಪರಿಶೀಲಿಸಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ವರದಿಯನ್ನು ನಮಗೆ ನೀಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಚೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇನ್ ಬರ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಈಗ 10 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ BP ಶುಗರ್ ಇದೆ. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಜೊತೆಗೆ 2 ದಿವಸದಿಂದ ಅವರು ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಟ್ಯಾಬ್ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿ ಅವರು.
The hospitalization of the Muruga Mutt chief, who was sent to 14-day judicial custody after the arrest, raises a serious question. Is the health issue merely an excuse to evade jail? Several activists are alleging that the seer's arrest was a sham.
Till yesterday, he did not have any problem. Okay, he was trying to escape from the mud twice also, because yesterday there was a news that he is going out of the mud after this anticipatory bail thing is posted for today or tomorrow, something like that. And suddenly he developed chest pain, means that is again another ploy. I really feel that.
See, this will happen. Every senior politicians and the Swamijis, this has been very regular. This is not a surprise.
Shivamurti Muruga Sharanaru is booked under sections of POCSO and ST&SC Atrocities Act for allegedly raping 2 students staying at the Mutt hostel. The rape-accused seer broke down in court during custody hearing on Friday. The court has granted police 4-day remand of the rape-accused seer for questioning. But his hospitalization could delay the investigation further. With Sagar Raj in Chitradurga, Bureau Report, India Today.
My colleague Sagar Raj joins me live from Chitradurga tonight, right outside the government hospital where the seer has been kept. Have you had an opportunity to understand from the local doctors what's actually medically wrong with this seer, or is this just a facade, an attempt to try and get away from being questioned inside jail?
So probably he wants to spend more time in the hospital than jail. In fact, he was taken around 4:56 and he was there for close to 3 hours. This is a basic routine test which has been done. Earlier, he was at the hospital, Rahul. He was undergoing all kind of medical tests. Even after that, now again the police were following the protocol of taking a regular test. After 3 hours, just now he was being shifted again in an ambulance. And what we get to learn through our SP office is that he'll be taken to DYSP office for further interrogation. But 1 day in 4 days of police custody is gone in the hospital.
Okay, and are the doctors telling you anything at all? How serious is that chest pain? It could be, and I must say this on a serious note, there is stress when you're picked up by the police, and that this could be for real, or also it's possible that this is just made up. What are the doctors telling you?
See, chest pain was reported in the morning. Now it was a regular test. And if you notice, there was a test report which was being taken to the Judge Komala where he was supposed to be produced. And that's when the judge went on to say that it is quite normal. After taking advices from the court doctors, she said it is quite normal and you can bring him back to court. And he was physically present. After that, he was being given police custody. So that clearly shows that that particular certificate was just for the namesake. You want to get away from this. You want to be shifted in the hospital rather than staying back at prison.
I'll leave it over there. Thank you very much, Sagar Raj, for joining us. Remember, on the Newstrack last night, we questioned very vigorously why lingayat seer Shivamurti had not been arrested, and we had the BJP spokesperson explaining how they were waiting for a judicial order to go out and arrest the seer, given the absurdity of that proposition, because you don't need the judge to tell the police to go out and arrest someone. It's their job to do so. Finally, 2 hours after the show, the local police went out and did finally arrest the lingayat seer after much public and media pressure. And there's a lot of drama that ensued when this arrest happened. The police swooped in at the Mutt at Chitradurga around 10:15 p.m. Thursday night. But it was within hours that the seer started complaining of cardiac issues. The Karnataka Chief Minister says he's given a complete free hand to the police and that the law is taking its own course.
A night swoop on a spiritual retreat, and its leader taken in. Draped in a white sheet over his saffron robe, the head of the Muruga Mutt at Chitradurga in central Karnataka was finally arrested. But it took the state police 6 days to take Shivamurthy Muruga Sharanaru into custody. The case against the influential self-proclaimed seer from the Lingayat community was filed on August 26th. The charges as serious as sexually assaulting 2 minor girls at his seminary, and the law invoked as stringent as the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. Yet, he remained free for almost 151 hours before he was captured Thursday night. Parts of Chitradurga were barricaded as police prepared for his arrest. The Muruga Mutt he heads operates more than 150 spiritual and educational institutions in Karnataka, and the Lingayat community he belongs to makes up almost 17% of the state's population. A decisive vote bloc, with most chief ministers themselves being Lingayat. The snail's pace with which the state administration proceeded, despite the gravity of charges, evoked shock reactions from various groups and activists. That one of his alleged victims was member of an SC community also fueled Dalit anger in Karnataka. The Mutt leader reported multiple health issues after his arrest.
Preliminary diagnosis that he is having serious heart problem, so it requires ICU because treatment is going. If the treatment is going in ICU, there is a more care instead of shifting treatment in the general ward.
But not many sounded convinced with his health complaints.
Yesterday he did not have any problem. Okay, he was trying to escape from the mud twice also, and suddenly he developed chest pain. Means that is again another ploy. I really feel that.
His medical report didn't convince the court either. The rape accused was produced before the judge in person. The court sent him to 4-day police custody for questioning. With state elections due in 8 months, the political reactions to the grave accusations the seer faced has rather been perfunctory. The state government, however, insisted it gave free hand to the police to deal with the case.
ಕಾನೂನು ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ನಡೀತದೆ. ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತನಾಡುವುದು ಸರಿಯಲ್ಲ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಮುಕ್ತವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ಆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಯಾವುದೇ ವ್ಯಾಖ್ಯಾನ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ.
The Lingayat seer has joined the ignoble list of various Babas accused of sexual assault in different parts of the country.
But that the wheels of justice turned too slow for him. The wait of 151 hours does raise serious question of political will on the face of political clout. With journalist Shivamurthy Sagairaj reporting for India Today, Chitradurga.
Is this VIP Lingayat seer trying to hoodwink law enforcement agencies? What should be done to ensure that the wheels of justice actually turn, and that if he is indeed a rapist, that he is brought to book as quickly and expeditiously without this being linked with the forthcoming Karnataka elections? Joining us, Pramila Narasagi, advocate and activist. Priya Chetty joins us. We've also got Vivek Reddy from the Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP in Karnataka. GB Patil joins us again, leader of the Jagatika Lingayat Mahasabha. BT Venkatesh joins us, advocate, and Prithi Nagaraj joins us, political analyst. Let me go across to GB Patil first, because you were on our show last evening and you made a very strong case for why Dr. Shivamurthy should be arrested. It seems about an hour and a half after Newstrack got over, finally the police authorities did crank into action and did take action against this seer. But now he seems to be claiming he has a chest pain. What are you making of all that you've seen between last night and this morning?
Yeah, nice Sharanarthi to all of you. Yesterday night also, I just immediately after the arrest, I had come on the air through your channel. It's expected, because normally he will have a chest pain and everything after arresting. It is a common practice in India, and probably Sharana also. I cannot call him a Sharana. Swamiji also must be having this kind of problem. Anyway, whether he is arrested means arrested. Whether he is outside the jail or inside the jail, he will be getting all kinds of comforts in jail also. He is in hospital. I don't think there is a much difference between this and that, because anyway he is accused and he is facing the charges, and I'm not finding any great reasons of this. But at the same time, he should have thought of the ordeal of the girls, how they have faced these 2-3 years, and he should remember that. And at the same time, if he can make some comforts in the hospital, it's up to him. I don't find any reasons to comment on that.
Pramila Nesargi, we're hearing from GB Patil, at least action has been taken, at least he's been arrested, at least he will face charges. He may not be in jail at this moment, but we're heading in the right direction. Do you think that's a correct way of looking at it, or do you think we need to be very careful so he doesn't get any VVIP privileges and isn't able to bend the law? Because some of these actions by the Karnataka police could just be a way of trying to get media and public pressure off their backs.
I don't think so. Everything is going on in accordance with law. But only now, only because of pressure, the previous person who spoke, as though a person who is accused of must be arrested immediately. Where is that law? I think he must be knowing about the provisions of law and the law laid down by the Supreme Court and the guidelines issued. Especially Justice M.N. Venkatachalaya, who was the Chief Justice of Karnataka, he has laid down when he can be arrested and what circumstances can be arrested. Arrest is arrest. Arrest, whether it is an offence under POCSO or anything. For arrest, provisions are there in the accordance that it must be laid down. But in this particular case, I was surprised that 14 days time is given under the law, even after the Law Commission recommendation and the Police Commission recommendation to issue a notice. Nothing is done. Even within 6 days, that he was taken into custody. Somebody was doubting whether he is healthy, whether it's a fake thing that he is in the hospital. I do not know whether any person, but that lady who was speaking, he said, yesterday he was all right, why he became. Rahul, I will tell you, yesterday I also came in your TV, so some of them, majority of them, I was hale and healthy. Yesterday I had a fracture and I had to go to doctor. Now I am in a fracture and I have been sitting before you. Does it mean that health will be there according to her taste, according to her imagination? Every day it will be same thing. It's impossible. The question is, why did they take them to police station? Why did they take them? After taking the police station, what does the law say? Arrested person must be told that you have a right to have a person along with you, whether a relative or a friend. That is what has been stated. No laws have been amended. This is the guideline laid down by the Supreme Court. Whether the police have told him that you have a right, and even after that, whether they have given any assistance to him, please see. The way in which he has been treated, nothing, no law is, doesn't matter. He is treated like an ordinary accused. Swamiji says to the program, he knows what is right and what is wrong. He is not worried about these things. He is following the procedure laid down by the police. He is obeying them. Did he say, take me to hospital? Does this lady know that he was asked to take a hospital 7 o'clock? And at the time when he was taken to custody, medical examination was done. What the doctors have written? He has got serious problem since many days. He is a heart patient and he is a patient of sugar complaint, blood pressure. So the doctor has said in his note itself, in the event of something happening, bring him to hospital. They have brought him to hospital. He has been obeying. We have been seeing. We are witnessing how he has been treated in the hospital. People pushing, holding him, bringing him and sitting in for all all the examinations have been done. Now it is taken, they wanted to do MRI.
Okay, so let me put that question to Preeti Nagaraj. You have a contrarian perspective. You're saying he's got a blood problem, he's got a sugar problem, and just because you were okay yesterday or today doesn't mean that you won't have a problem tomorrow. That he could have a problem. Why are we disputing the claim that the seer is making? He could well be actually having chest pain. Don't be judgmental and don't jump the gun. Preeti Nagaraj.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I quite possibly think that maybe he has a genuine health problem, because I think the definition of crisis means different people in different situations. This man is somebody who commanded a massive.
Okay, can we have one guest speaking at one time, please? Can the fader be turned down and let Preeti Nagaraj speak? Preeti.
Yeah. So crisis and emergency is different for different people, because this man has been in a public life for so long, has enjoyed so much respect, and has been a very revered one by his disciples and by a lot of people for his progressive views. Maybe a situation like this can trigger a health crisis inside him, because this is the first time he's being seen in the place of a culprit. So it's quite possible that, I can't sit in judgment about whether he genuinely has a problem or not, but I don't rule out the issue that, he could be going through some crisis within himself, because and also the delay in arresting him and all that time that was given to him, even if it is by law. Various sources tell me that, he took all that time to, kind of make arrangements in the mud that, in his absence, chairs don't shift and, positions are not moved, and everything goes according to his
Peter Venkatesh, we are just hearing from a very charged up Pramila Nesargi, who's very unhappy with people assuming that the seer is faking it, that he's making it seem as if he has a chest pain when he doesn't. She says, you're okay now, it doesn't mean you'll be okay tomorrow morning. You could actually have a medical problem.
Yeah, see, there is this challenge in this country. We live in these days we live in a quite Orwellian world. Common criminal and not so common criminal. And you should remember, a Bangalore prison, and I have officiated as a state public prosecutor myself. Bangalore prison has a well-equipped hospital inside. It's a big prison with all the equipped hospitals. So there's no, and there are always 24/7 doctors there in Bangalore prison. Two, the bimari aa jati, the person, anyone who's influential in this country, the moment they see the door of the entrance of the prison, they suddenly have a chest pain, and that seems to be not my opinion, that's the opinion which is carried by millions out in this particular country. Many of them who are ordinary criminals may not be in a position to get the kind of privileges that others have. And in these cases, we have come across a six-packs wala film actor also feigning sickness the moment he sees the prison door. And that's one of the major challenges that we have. And police have tremendous pressure in such cases. One of the challenges that I've seen is great amount of pressure is on police because of the political dispensations which are here, irrespective of the party. In fact, in the instant case, when you're talking in terms of, while the whole country, all the media and the people in the streets are shouting that action be initiated in such a case, and have been protests across the state regarding this, and given that kind of a thing, all the political parties, irrespective of their opinion, have been totally silent. You should be in a position to see this. None of them have said a word about the complicity or the accused need to be treated as anyone else. I think that's one of the challenges that we have in this country. Justice becomes a problem, more particularly for the most marginalized, stigmatized, and oppressed communities. Look at these girls, minor girls, young girls who have been put into such amount of trauma. These are allegations, agreed. But what matters is that the person who is so influential that the former chief minister comes and talks that he is innocent already even before the police take action. And police don't take action for 6 long days and allow him to be around and the kind of influence that he wields in the place which he has.
Correct, absolutely. Now,
this is
Vivek
something
Reddy,
which
here
I
is
mean
the
is
deal.
really-
The
it
fact that
becomes a
yesterday
joke.
we had BJP
The
leaders
law
coming
and
out
order
and
justice
supporting
becomes a
and
joke.
justifying the actions of this seer, from Yediyurappa to Ishwarappa, all of them saying that the cases are fake. Now that creates very serious concerns about whether or not the police will investigate this case seriously. They are making it seem as if they will, but given the manner in which things have played out so far, Vivek Reddy, I am not certain, and I don't think viewers who are watching at this time are either, that the police will do its job. You seem to be reacting more to pressure than to your own conviction.
Yes. Rahul, can you hear me?
I hear you well.
Rahul, can you hear me, please?
I hear you well, Vivek. Go on.
Hello?
I hear you well, Vivek. Go on.
Hello? Rahul, can you hear me?
I hear you well. Just go on. You don't need to keep saying hello. I hear you well. Go on.
The issue, whether Mr. Yediyurappa says anything or whether any political bigwig says anything, it does not matter in this case. The reason is that the prosecution has closed in on the accused and it has arrested him. There were big questions raised as to whether the government will take that challenge, and it will arrest him. It has arrested him now, and interrogation is going on. The preliminary interrogation is also completed. 164 statements are taken. I think in the meantime, there is a medical issue. The medical issue is also addressed. But let us be very clear that the prosecution has closed in on the accused, irrespective of his medical status. It is a 4-day police custody. It will not be a police custody forever, and he will have to be brought into judicial custody in the meantime.
No, but you seem to be reacting more to the pressure, Vivek Reddy. This is not the police acting on its own. This is the police responding to the pressure from activists, from the media, and from the public at large.
Well, if there is a medical emergency, they would have to look into the issue. I think this is just a small, just a serious medical issue, number one. Second is that in such circumstances, it would be difficult for the police to proceed with the normal proceedings of the crime, normal stages of the crime. They will have to look into this medical issue, ensure that there is no such problem, and then proceed with the interrogation. I think they have completed the interrogation partially. And let me be very clear that in days to come, irrespective of the seer's admission to the hospital, irrespective of his medical condition, he will be interrogated and brought to book. This is a serious case against minors, and you will see that he will have to go to jail and he will have to face the law as any ordinary citizen.
Priya Shetty, do you buy that? The fact that yes, they have arrested, it took a lot of public pressure, but they have arrested this year. He is being interrogated, even though at this moment he is in hospital, but otherwise he is being interrogated. And therefore, the BJP spokesperson saying, judge us by our actions, not by the words of our netas.
Well, I think everybody's entitled to their point of view. I think also there is an element of too little, too late. But this is being played out in the media. The playbook, I think, has been established for time immemorial. You have power. If indeed this is true, let me just preface what I'm saying with, in case the allegations are true, to which all this seems to be pointing, with great power comes great responsibility. It brings influence. The same focus and the power that you have also brings you under the scanner when something like this goes wrong. So if a normal human being were to, be accused and get bail, a person of his stature would probably get a lot more flack, whether he has or has not. But the playbook across everything is standard. You escape, then you try and get bail, then you get sick, and then you get VIP treatment, and then you're tucked away under some little, quiet little place. So there's an element, I think, for all of us feeling a little...
You make an important point, and let the BJP leader, Vivek Reddy, respond to it, that this is almost predictable. Whenever there is a VIP, whether it's a neta or a seer, that there will be chest pain. It's like a very ghisa-pita, cliched Bollywood film. It will play out to that same script.
Well, Rahul, Priya Chetty is saying, the police are the best judge for this, and the doctors are the best judge for this. No medical report can be concocted. These reports are there and it is available before the magistrate. It will be reviewed before the magistrate. And if it is indeed as is stated by the police, I think the health of the accused is also important. Today, we are not damning the accused or we are not convicting him. This is not that stage. A stage has to reach where post-trial, post-assessment of evidence, he will have to be convicted. But today is a stage where, in case there is such medical emergency, the police will have to attend to it. Yes. I mean, the case of Priya Chetty it is concocted. Not every case is concocted. We can't come to that conclusion.
I agree.
We can't say that
if I can jump
this is inevitable in every situation.
Priya wants to respond. Go on, Priya.
There is a situation where they will have to attend to the medical emergency, and post that, they will not see. The wheels of law will move and ensure that he is brought to book.
So, Vivek, I would like to say I agree with you that when there's an issue of medical emergency or medical issue, there is nobody who will take a chance and say, you know, we're just going to leave you lying around. So people will take all possible precautions. And I think that's completely acceptable that they would. Why would they take a chance? My statement is more from the predictability of the playbook. Correct. Which has happened across industrialists, Seers. This happens. So it makes people like us feel a little jaded, saying, you know, come on, you know, we're not born yesterday. But let's not get into frivolity. My question actually will come right back to Rahul. You know, we've had 2 or 3 different, if you look back at the last 10 or 20 years, whether you look at the other, the other cohorts, which is, you know, people from the corporate or government or whatever, but the religious institutions, particularly educational and orphanages, have been under the scanner for a long, long time. And I still remember the case of the Muzaffarpur, the orphanage, when, you know, mentally challenged children were drugged and raped by various people through, their state. They were just completely devastated when they were found. I would like to know, if you look at a series of cases in the last 10 years where either heads of religious institutions or administrators of religious institutions have misused their power, what has been done up to date? And who was the person who belled the cat? I think this would be an interesting sort of initiative from the media to make out whether we're going to react to this now and then 1 year from now or 3 months from now to the next case, or are we going to do something to either
in several cases, we've seen these godmen also subsequently get parole, even after conviction, very conveniently get parole, get preferential treatment while they're in prison. And therefore, that again is something which needs to be looked at. Again, I hate playing judge and jury. I'm no one to sit and act as a pontiff and declare someone guilty or not. But what is important is that the wheels of justice are moving, albeit slowly and under pressure. We need to keep at it, because if indeed lingayat Seer Shivamurthy is guilty, he needs to pay for his crimes. And that can only happen if the police and the administration do their job as they must. Otherwise, it will just be another case of a VVIP, as Priya correctly says, just conning the law and getting away, and that we will not accept. On that note, I want to thank our guests for being a part of this India Today continuing coverage in our campaign. Finally, the Seer, no matter how powerful and influential he is politically and in the religious sect, he is having to answer questions. Now, I hope those questions are being posed seriously, and I hope they'll be taken to their logical conclusion. When I come back from a very quick break, India gets its first indigenous aircraft carrier, INS Vikrant, inducted into service by Prime Minister Modi. Details coming up on the other side.
I noticed something new. You started using a new body lotion.
Funny. I'm so sorry for the delay. I was on another call. It just kept going on.
No, Papa. You have been a steam bath.
Steam bath? At home?
Two steam bath he takes.
Go to your homework.
7:20 already. The kickoff's in 5 minutes. Get all the boys. We have the entire place to ourselves, man. Not working?
Of course it is. But I don't want you guys to be using this bathroom. So use the other one.
Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
At 9 p.m. on the news today with me, Rajdeep Sardesai. Parrot or puppet? A full-blown political war breaks out between the Modi government and the opposition-ruled states over allegations of corruption and misuse of enforcement agencies. Also on the show, the Karnataka seer who was arrested for the rape of 2 minor girls only yesterday is admitted into an ICU after complaining of chest pain. Is he getting special privileges? Teesta Setalvad also gets interim bail. We'll have all the arguments in that case. And India's first indigenous aircraft carrier INS Vikrant is commissioned. All that and much more on the news today.
You're on board the Newstrack, the pride of the Indian Navy, INS Vikrant, a made-in-India aircraft carrier, has been officially commissioned. This warship will act as a deterrent amid China's growing presence in the Indian Ocean region. The indigenously built warship will strengthen the country's maritime force and has the capacity to operate over deep seas. Prime Minister Modi was in Kochi for the big inauguration.
An aircraft carrier made in India, a floating airfield, 45,000 tons of war muscle. INS Vikrant, the pride of India, has joined the Indian Navy's fleet. This next-generation aircraft carrier, the largest warship ever built in India's maritime history, was commissioned in Kochi by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday.
जोरदार तालियों के साथ आइए स्वागत करते हैं भारतीय नौसेना में INS विक्रांत का।
विक्रांत विशाल है, विराट है, विहंगम है। विक्रांत विशिष्ट है, विक्रांत विशेष भी है। विक्रांत केवल एक युद्धपोत नहीं है, ये 21वीं सदी के भारत के परिश्रम, प्रतिभा, प्रभाव और प्रतिबद्धता का प्रमाण है।
The entry of India's biggest Swadeshi warship into the Navy is a huge push for Atmanirbhar Bharat.
जो देश जितना किसी दूसरे देश पर निर्भर है, उतना ही उसके लिए संकट है। जो देश जितना आत्मनिर्भर है, वो उतना ही सशक्त है।
The induction of the aircraft carrier is key to India's maritime interests, especially in the Indo-Pacific region, with a belligerent China attempting to widen its reach.
हम हमारी कलेक्टिव सिक्योरिटी की जरूरतों को पूरा करने में पूरी तरह से सक्षम हैं। हम एक फ्री, ओपन एंड इंक्लूसिव इंडो पैसिफिक में विश्वास रखते हैं। इस संबंध में हमारे प्रयास माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के विजन सागर यानी सिक्योरिटी एंड ग्रोथ फॉर ऑल इन द रीजन से गाइडेड है।
The aircraft carrier, housing state-of-the-art automation features, a crew of over 1,700 officers and sailors, and capacity to hold up to 12 fighter jets and 6 helicopters, This is a floating airfield and a city in itself.
We can see the two runways very clearly from here. This will give you an idea how exactly air operations will take place. The round circles with numbers, that says 3, it says 2, 1, those are meant for helicopters to be stationed, and the two runways are divided in between with a white lining. One is the red one, the other is the yellow one. Two runways are there, one is a shorter one, the other a longer one. The shorter one for operations to be launched quickly when the aircraft can fly without a payload. But if an offensive operation is to be launched with a heavy payload, that's when the longer runway has to be used. It's still going to take at least 4 months for air operations to start on INS Vikrant.
A special welcome was given to the new warship from the air, a flypast by helicopters and fighter jets in the presence of Prime Minister Modi and other dignitaries. The brand new aircraft carrier is named after its illustrious predecessor, the original INS Vikrant, that played a defining role in India's war with Pakistan in 1971. Today, India screams Shano Varunam. May the gods of the oceans be auspicious unto us. With Abhishek Bhalla in Kochi, Bureau Report, India Today.
It's the largest warship ever to be built in the maritime history of India. INS Vikrant has a large number of indigenous equipment and machinery, right from ensuring hot-cooked meals for 1,700 Navy personnel on board to having medical facilities. This aircraft carrier is set to sail and soar in the skies.
An aircraft carrier is a mini floating airbase at sea, which sets it apart from other warships in terms of operations, reach and complexities. From ensuring hot-cooked meals for 1,700 personnel on board to having all medical facilities. All needs are to be catered on board. Apart from the glorious exterior, the warship is a technological wonder.
Everything you look at it, there's a hospital complex on the ship. Probably the Indian Navy, because there's 1,600 souls live on this ship, and this would be the fleet would be revolving around this vessel. So the medical complex itself spread over more than 30 compartments with a full-fledged CT scan and operation theatre, dental clinic, telemedicine. So there is a kind of thought process that's gone on this vessel.
It might not seem so at the first glance, but the length and breadth of this flight deck is equivalent to almost 2 football fields. Not just this, 21,000 tons of steel have been used in just the hull of the warship, which they say is equivalent to at least 3 Eiffel Towers. That's just a small bit of information to explain how much effort, hard work and labor has gone into ensuring this mammoth warship is all ready and set to sail.
In spite of India's glorious maritime heritage, there was no indigenous warship design or warship building capability at the time of independence in 1947. It's been a long journey. Construction started in 2006. Finally, it will be sailing within a year. The earlier Vikrant has had a glorious past, playing a pivotal role in the 1971 war with Pakistan.
Being the first indigenous aircraft carrier, it means a lot. This heralds that India and Indian Navy is able to design, construct and operate this kind of a complex warship, it itself gives a boost to our indigenous capability of warship building. Whilst you must have followed up that last decade, we have inducted numerous platforms which have been indigenously designed and developed. A case in point being our indigenous submarines, our P-15 Bravo Vishakhapatnam class and other vessels. So this is coming of age, I would say, that we have started from a nascent stage and today we are able to construct an aircraft carrier.
At the bottom of the warship is the engine room, the place that gets the gigantic warship moving. The speed at which she travels is controlled from this place at the bottom of the 15 decks. The gas turbines is what gives Vikrant the extra power.
4 gas turbines are 24,000 megawatt each. So that's now 24,000 megawatt multiplied by 4. So that is 96,000 megawatt of installed power on the gas turbines. If you want to compare this with a mid-size tanker which we have built, that tanker would be only about 13,000 megawatt, 13 megawatt. So instead of that, you are saying 96 megawatt installed. You look at the electrical power on the ship. This is the propulsion power. The electrical power on the ship is 24 megawatt, 8 generating sets, each of 3 megawatt. Now this electrical power can actually, I say a city like Kochi, probably the lighting loads of the city can be taken by this system.
The hangar area is around midway to the top.
There'll be at least 30 aircraft, which will include fighter aircraft as well as helicopters that can be stationed here. It will take some time for that to happen, but we'll also show you how operations will actually take place. Once the aircraft that are parked here are taken out in this area, this is the lift, and this lift will facilitate the aircraft going up to the flight deck. And similarly, if the aircraft have to be brought down, it will be the same lift that will bring them down and ensure that they are parked in safety in these hangars.
Other critical areas for operations are the electric room controlling power distribution and ship control center. Soon the Vikrant will set sail, enhancing India's maritime capabilities. Not one, but 2 aircraft carriers will be fully operational.
This ski jump is the last point where the aircraft touches before flying. And this will make sure that Indian Navy fighter jets on board INS Vikrant soar high. And when they do so, they will make sure that they keep a very close watch on every activity taking place in the high seas.
INS Vikrant has been built at a cost of over 20,000 crore rupees and has over 2,300 compartments. Here is all you need to know about the largest ship ever made in India.
India's largest warship. Vikrant is a 45,000-ton carrier. It can accommodate up to 1,700 personnel, including the air crews and arrangement for even women personnel. The flight deck of the warship, 262 meters in length and 62.4 meters wide. The total area, 12,460 square kilometers. With 15 decks, including 5 in the superstructure, the ship has over 2,300 compartments. The ship's top speed is around 28 knots and cruising speed 18 knots. With an endurance of 7,500 nautical miles, she can almost cover the entire coastline of India twice without any requirement of refueling for 45 days. The Vikrant in its new avatar stands tall proudly after years of toil. It's the sweat and hard work of so many that's made this possible. Thousands have toiled over the years. The Kochi shipyard that had an expertise in building civilian commercial ventures took up the challenge.
Electronics systems, warship weapons intensive system. Companies like Bharat Electronics, companies like Hindustan HAL, BHEL, we all got together. So there's been a huge synergy in action. And that synergy, we are very happy that between us and Navy, we created that synergy in this country to actually create the belief in the country that you can actually deliver projects like this. The electrical power on the ship is 24 megawatt. 8 generating sets, each of 3 megawatt. Now this electrical power can actually, I say a city like Kochi, probably the lighting loads of the city can be taken by this system.
Refueling, without refueling, what is the distance that you can...
75 days, probably like for something which people may connect. If you sail from here, maybe you can sail up to Brazil without refueling.
So, I mean, that would be... In terms of kilometers, how much?
I will have to check it up exactly, but then it's about 75 days without...
75 days,
correct.
One can reach up to Brazil.
That's right.
This takes India into select band of 7 countries: USA, UK, France, Russia, Italy and China that have niche capabilities of design and building of an aircraft carrier.
So in terms of maritime capabilities, operations, a second aircraft carrier, how does it change things? How does that status quo change for the Indian Navy with Vikrant coming in?
Our planners, since our independence, envisaged a navy built around 4 carriers. Whilst it was approved in principle, due various reasons, it never took off. So considering our geography, our importance of sea lanes of communication for our economy, with our economy on a growth tangent which is unmatched in the past, it is imperative that we have not just the second but the third carrier also. So what does a carrier bring? It brings a potential to undertake operations in any type of scenario, from peace to combat scenario. All kind of missions, operations can be undertaken by a carrier.
Indian Navy's previous aircraft carriers were acquired from UK and Russia. India's first aircraft carrier acquired from the UK in 1961 that was decommissioned later was also called Vikrant. A new Vikrant is expected to live up to its name, that means victorious and gallant. As per naval tradition, ships never die. And in keeping with this tradition, the indigenous aircraft carrier is back in a new avatar with the same name, Vikrant.
Jayam Samaha Yudhis Pradaha. We defeat those who dare to fight with us. This motto of INS Vikrant is going to be the center stage of what Vikrant means to the Indian Navy. This is a clear message that Vikrant will not only embolden the firepower of India's maritime security agencies, but will also make sure that the adversary is always 2 steps behind.
This is where I wrap up the Newstrack tonight. For your time and your trust, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you 8 p.m. Monday evening. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye, good night.